Hey, welcome to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. I'm going to do a message actually for my winner that you'll probably resonate with. Okay, the question was the significance of the relationship, the lessons that needed to be learned during the relationship, why did it end, and is it finished forever? Was the question that my winner wanted to know. So we're going to do a reading for her, but if you landed on this, most likely you will feel that you resonate with this message. Be like, well, was again the relationship anything? Did it mean something? Did it mean something to me? Did it mean anything to that person? That's what I get from those questions, right? When we're left with a lot of unanswered questions. Now, before we jump in, I just wanted to tell everyone that's new to my channel that I like to go deep within the reading. So I like to look at everything. So I look at the spiritual blocks of shadow, see how they play out as karmic themes. So the questions that my winner asked are actually questions that I ask and I answer in every reading. So they're in alignment, shadows. Shadows that are integrated turn to spiritual gifts. There's always lessons. So you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. The universe tells you what you need. So it's not necessarily like, oh, I'm that person, that shady person that got over on me. I'm not a shady person. I'm not a mean person. I'm not a manipulative person. No, but if you, again, don't know who you are and you give too much, it winds up becoming like an empath and narcissistic relationship, which in the beginning feels like you're dealing with another empath. And that's what I'm feeling before I even jump into the relationship. So that means that there's a lot of karmic lessons, and karmic lessons are ones that are going to help you evolve so that you can see things differently, view yourself differently, so that you can change certain behaviorisms, so that you can evolve into a higher state of consciousness. And the goal really is to evolve into the state of unconditional love. That's your perfect energy. Shadows are parts of ourselves that we reject, parts of ourselves that we think that there's something wrong with because of the experiences that we've gone through. So being that you're asking these questions, it means that you're still holding on to the relationship, and that's very normal. And I have to explain these things because a lot of times people say, well, why am I ruminating on a situation that wasn't good for me? Why am I still holding on? And it's because on a spiritual level that the higher self wants you to learn something, but also because when we don't learn the lesson, we can't transmute the negative energy. See, we go through experiences, negative experiences, where we, unfortunately get negative energy. The situation's created. And so just because the experience is gone doesn't mean the negative energy is gone. Negative energy is not just held in the mind, it's held in the body, because your body is your mind's faithful servant. That's why your spiritual centers, which are your chakras, represent psychological and emotional aspects of yourself. And your behaviorisms and habits are built on those, again, karmic core beliefs, and that you need to learn them. I'm only explaining so that you understand that healing is a process. Without the awareness, you can't integrate new behaviorisms and habits. You don't learn anything. And so the energy doesn't go anywhere, it just sits. So, which makes it impossible for the chi, which is prana, which is also known as spirit, which is also known as God, because God is ubiquitous, it's an energy, needs to work through us, because God is actually inside of us, and that's the energy of unconditional love. So again, these shadows make us form these behaviorisms. We don't even know that we're blocked until something happens in our outer world that we don't like. So whether that's, again, attracting a person, a situation, or experience. So again, to answer just the question, was there a lesson? Of course there's a lesson. Now, before we jump in, any important information about the channel you find in the description box, including the word of the video. That's always the first word that on the first card that I pull out is the underlining energy that tells me why everyone's doing what they're doing. When people wear masks, again, we don't know why they do what they do. We just know that whatever they're doing doesn't really make sense. You know, a person that likes us, but they're going to treat us like shit, you know, or we think that we are a good judge of character, but then we say, well, like, how could I be so off? Understand that there's reasons why that actually happens. Transmuting the negative energy, by the way, means channeling it into purpose. So you see yourself differently. Again, God is all knowing. You're down here in physical form to learn that you're not separate from God. By seeing your situation through all different perceptions, when you're blocked, it means I'm stuck in a perception, and that perception is making me feel limited. And the problem is, a lot of times it's not even our issue, it's somebody that we're dealing with. So let's look at the underlining energy. Want to enter into winning a free reading with me? Gotta like the video, subscribe to the channel, write the word of the video in your comment bar. Again, you got to subscribe so you'll get notified. I'm being called to pull 2 cards for the card of the video. You can write either one in your comment bar. You can write both. It doesn't really matter. Jealousy, card number 1. And let's pull from my deck, the Psychic Soul Healer Oracle deck, made for healing the shadow aspects of ourselves based on transpersonal psychology. Let's see. Maybe just gonna pull right from there. Shadow dislocation. So, you know, when you ask, why did it happen? There's no real reason. This person found you attractive. I feel this person likes everything that you represent. But they have shadows that they haven't healed, that they haven't integrated. So they're still living from their lower self. So unfortunately, I feel as if you were dealing with somebody that like came on really strong and love bombed you and made you believe that it was something, but it really wasn't anything more than passion. They say that because there's there was a little bit of game playing. There were a little bit of signs that this person did show you right from the beginning about who they were. And so I feel like they tried to make you jealous. I feel like they have problems with intimacy. They wouldn't let you really get close. And so there's a sense that you like bought the love bombing, where you really thought that they, wanted that type of relationship, is all that I can say. And I say that because, again, a person that like tries to make someone jealous is always trying to make themselves feel superior. They're like coming from their real the ego part of themselves. And I hate that, but it's, again, when dealing with them, they were always scheming. And it's because the person, I feel like, has intimacy issues. And that just happens, I think, just in general, because a lot of times our society like it shows women to act a certain way and men to act a certain way. And that once a man's with a woman, it's almost like they're on some level, they feel like they're going to lose their identity. This is when you're dealing with an unhealed masculine energy. Someone that doesn't really know who they are. Again, this person's living from the ego, from the shadow part of self. Just because, again, you had a connection, you were viewing them as if they were coming from the same level of consciousness that you are, which is, I feel like, pure, but again, still wounded, because you wouldn't have attracted this type of person. And you wouldn't have like overlook the scheming. You can tell when a person's not coming from their heart. Again, when they have to overthink everything, when they're holding back information. There was a lot of signs here that this person was showing you. So right from the get-go, I feel like they were testing you to see like what they could get. Again, the ego. So passion, time, attention, just to feed the ego, that like no reason at all. And again, like showing you that their behavior, which is also in alignment with that. Someone that isn't really quite sure of who they are. So when a person isn't quite sure of who they are, they don't really feel good about themselves. They don't feel stable. You know, they're not putting their time and energy towards creating themselves. So what are they putting their time and energy towards? Feeding their addictions, feeding their lower energies. So they were showing you who they were. I feel like because of the connection, you were like, well, they also showed me that other side. Yeah, but a person that shows you that side, you know, they're also testing you. What can I get away with? And they knew that you had expectations. And so when we have expectations of someone, then and the person then says, well, I know how much you like me and that you expect me to do that. But this person has intimacy issues. So that automatically is going to trigger them to be like, nah, I don't want this. Because again, in their mind, they see that they would have to play a certain role because they don't know who they are. And now you have expectations. So they lose their identity, even though they don't know what their identity is. So that's why this person isn't on the same vibration as you. You know what you want, but spirit is saying you're in balance still. And so I understand it, but you might be like, well, I don't see any of my imbalances. And spirit says, believe me, we're gonna tell you again through your inner child wounds. But we're still focused on, like, again, what's the next question, which was, well, are they going to do anything about it? Like, what were the karmic lessons? So let's see what the karmic lessons are. Sometimes it'll come out. Sometimes it'll come out. Sometimes it won't. Let's see. I think automatically, without even telling you, part of it was you gave too much time and energy. You had expectation, and real unconditional love has no expectation. There is no ownership or expectation. So you are actually coming from a lower vibration, which is then you're a magnet of, you know, the same type of energy where this person had expectation too, that they were going to have a good time with you. You know, that they felt the chemistry. So they thought that they were in, and they didn't think that they needed to do much to actually get what they wanted. Now you showed them something else, and that's why they was not really around, because they weren't planning on putting that type of time in. Why? Because they were low energy. Low energy that wants to stay in a low energy goes for lower hanging fruit. It's just the way that it goes. Yeah, well, in their mind, it's again, you triggered them because they really actually do have strong feelings for you. It says, you are my true love, my heart and my soul. So you'd be like, oh, really? So that is not the energy that you showed me. Well, again, if this person has intimacy issues and you have expectations and they don't know who they are, well, then they have fear of abandonment. And the fear of abandonment is because they don't like who they are, because they don't know who they are. So they're going to assume that you don't like who they are either. So it's better for them to like bolt and not be around than actually give you the time, if that makes sense. And that's what a person that is spiritually blocked. They get in their own way. They form psychological reversals. Like you just shot yourself in the foot for no reason. Because what is it? If a person doesn't like themselves, they don't really believe they're deserving of love. And if they have feelings of love, then again, they're going to be triggered and they're going to get in their own way. It's because it's a survival mechanism. So again, in this state, it's like, because I really, truly do have feelings for you. But it's like twisted. It's like because of the wounds, the relationship always gets toxic. And it gets toxic into a toxic situation where it's not, when they're in a relationship, it winds up where they feel like they're entrapment with other people, not with you. It's, again, this person is wounded. So remember, it's like you have expectation of what you perceive the relationship as. Well, they, again, think that they know what that is due to the experiences that they lived. They haven't healed from those. This is how a person brings their baggage into the new relationship. So it's like they wind up, wanting to control the relationship. They wind up, and in that, it's like, by a lot of times, by not giving you enough on an emotional level. And again, what winds up happening is then people become very toxic, and it's because this person isn't emotionally available. So it's not that they don't have feelings, it's that this person is basing their relationship with you on what has happened in all their other relationships. And it's almost like easier for them to walk away from you than actually be in a relationship with you, because they're the ones that walked away. So I know they're still staying in an imbalanced energy. And that imbalanced energy is, um, like, actually, like being able to be superior. And that's why I said they're not looking to like heal themselves. And the shadow dislocation told us that right from the beginning. It's like, I feel like this person believes that if this connection is real, that it'll manifest itself. It's like they don't think that they need to do that much energy, put that much energy into the relationship, which makes no sense at all. It's like they have strong feelings, but when they were in the relationship with you, they wouldn't give you what you needed on an emotional level. So it's like they contradict themselves through and through. It's like the universe brought us together for a reason. I'm discovering what these reasons are. So I feel like again, relationships are all about creating awareness. And though that awareness is about teaching us about ourselves. So I feel like this person, like, doesn't really know, but they know that they have feelings. They know that you trigger them. Again, what is it for? Relationships are really just the way that spirit grows us, makes us aware of things. If it's a soul relationship, a karmic relationship, which is what I believe that it is, mainly because just right from the get-go, they have intimacy problems. Which I showed you, they're on a low vibration, and then they have these strong feelings, and their beliefs are in complete contradiction of really what they do. And that's someone that needs healing. So someone that needs healing is not really grounded. They're just, again, living in their imagination, kind of, and like living in the ego. So this person is like trying to figure out why they're affected. Why? So there, it did bring them to healing. It is bringing them to healing, but are they going to do anything about it? I'm discovering what these reasons are. Are they going to do anything? I feel you, even though that we're apart. And again, that's what's actually making this person actually think, because they can still feel you, but they're afraid to contact you because they know how they treated you. They, like, now that you're in separation, this person is actually like reflecting back on how toxic they were, and really for no apparent reason. But it's because they're wounded. They don't realize, again, the baggage that they're bringing into every relationship is what causes the problems. You walking away actually is what is created, like, this person to even like look at themselves. Otherwise, I don't believe that they would. And obviously the connection, the spiritual connection, it's like, I am not available. Again, this person knows that they're not emotionally available. But again, you're the best thing in my life. You were the best thing in my life. And because of that, that I don't really feel like, they don't really feel like it's over. The issue is that, you know, when you have a soul connection with someone and it's karmic, and and the person is like healing, they're holding on to that, to the memory of you. They're holding on to that. So in a way they feel like, well, I didn't close it out. So when you said, is it over? Well, they left it open for a reason. They left it open because they can say, well, I can come back at any time, you know. And so which, you know, that's not really fair for you, right? When a person like acts like that. But it's the relationship really is the fact that this person's on a lower vibration, has a lot of wounds, that hasn't looked at them, hasn't done anything about it. So to the point that unconsciously their behaviorisms are the exact opposite of what they want, where they get in their own way. They self-sabotage themselves. And that happens from extreme trauma, where betrayal has happened in the relationship. So this person like knows, because you walked away, there's still a connection. They can't just let that go. Remember, love is the strongest energy. We can't manipulate it. We can't control it. It transcends time and space. So it's actually like the universal panacea, like the magic pill, where there is no magic pill, but it does make people look at themselves, look at why is a situation what it is. So I feel like you've influenced them, and they know that you haven't 100% let go, because you gave it time, you do care. So in a way, it's like they feel like that they may be together again with you because they didn't really close the door, and they see that you really haven't closed the door on it, and they can still feel your energy around them. Remember, ESP through the heart and mind transcends not just years, but like decades. You know, you can have a past life karmic made from millions of years ago, and they'll find you in this lifetime. So again, the soul bond is very, very, very strong. It would have to be for this person to look at their shit, because listen, they're walking around with all this baggage to the point that they can't not get out of their own way. I want to tell you how I feel. I wonder if you're happy without me. So it's like, again, their low self-esteem. Like, instead of just asking you and being able to talk about it, they are not emotionally mature enough to do that. They don't know how to communicate. So it's like, I wish that things could be different. And they're like, well, unless you change, like, things aren't going to be different. But they can change it. They can make it different. But they don't trust themselves. And they don't trust themselves because they never do anything different. And that's because they won't let their intuition guide them. They won't let their emotions guide them. Again, this person, again, is always in that left brain, logical, analytical, survival mind, which, again, over time, it becomes very boring. And there's a sense of, again, still living in survival because you're scheming, right? You can't just relax. So you're not going to really ever let anyone in. And so, of course, they have reckless behavior. You're going to see addictions. You're going to see a lot of things. Haven't done anything to, but the universe is continuously bringing us situations and experiences to help us. And I think that is what the message is here. It's like, not so much that you're supposed to be with this person, because this person, like, you can only bring the horse to water. You can't make him drink. But it doesn't mean that this person didn't love. However, why did I attract this person? Because it's bullshit. Like, that's, I mean, like, it, and if it doesn't, if you're not saying that, you should be, is what Spirit's saying. Because it's like that, this is your healing, you know, that you need healing to do, because you're not such an innocent. Remember, you're out of alignment with the laws of God, the laws of love, the laws of nature, the laws of the universe, because they're all the same thing. where God is saying you're out of alignment. It's like, and so being that you're imbalanced, you're going to attract anything that's imbalanced. You're like, but that doesn't match my imbalance. I'm not that fucked up. I may be fucked up, but I'm not that fucked up. God says it doesn't matter, whether it's a little or a lot. So it's not that you're a bad person. A lot of times people say, why did I attract this person? I'm not a bad person. It's to help you learn. Automatically feeling because of trauma, neglect, because that's all this person really brought to the table, let's face it. They happen to be right there, so I grabbed them. Again, but I also bring you gifts, because understand, if you were neglected and traumatized in childhood, then understand your imagination is going to be strong. Your psychic ability is going to be strong. That's why they say the child that survives thrives. Why does the child that survives thrives? Because living in trauma makes you sensitive, makes you, again, detach, disassociate, live in the mind, the creative mind, the psychic mind. How do you manifest? Through feeling and through imagination. So there was the lack of groundingness. Again, lack of doing for yourself, support, having shadows in that area, feelings of unworthy, which is the same of trauma. If I'm saying trauma, why? It's emotional trauma. Again, and if I feel unworthy, how am I being made to feel unworthy? By neglecting. Well, you're not that important. We don't have to do for you. We don't have to do for you. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. There's something wrong with you. So the behavior was you were brought up in an environment to make you feel bad about yourself in some way. And it might not have even been intentional. But again, still made you have trauma. So again, when we attract someone to us like this, that's like plays all these games, again, and that was just coming from a lower energy, it's because they don't know who they are. You don't know who you are. Like goes to like. You looking for love, this person, again, knowing expectation, they feed on that. They'll make you believe it. They're like a predator. Real root chakra imbalance. I'm going to pull two more. Rebellion. So again, seen as bad. Seen as again, like a rebel, which in this instance, not good, like going against the norm. So you could just be someone that's different, that thinks different, that is different, that, you're like, I was seen as different. I was seen as not good. Maybe, again, you're gay and you grew up in an environment that they told you shouldn't be that way. Or maybe, again, whatever it is, it's that you were perceived as you should only date like Ivy League people and you weren't dating that, or only within your religion, only within your culture. Whatever the fuck it was that you were seen as bad, the black sheep. And because you were the black sheep, unworthy, not good enough. So we're not going to really put the time into you. Emotional trauma is what creates that, which will bring you a person that also has emotional trauma that's fragmented. And so, but it's not to be with them, but we wouldn't stop to really even look if there wasn't that I'm passionate about this person. 2, 3, 4, 5, one more. And resilience, where spirit says, hey, listen, like you grew up in that environment without emotional support. And so you're actually very resilient. You don't need anything outside of you because the kingdom of heaven's inside of you. If you can imagine it, you can create it. We all know that you can imagine it. We see a lot of shit here on the table. We see trauma. We see unworthy. We see, again, we're like rebellious, like as in bad, so neglected. But we see the one gift here that overrides all that shit, which is I'm resilient and I have imagination. So again, all I need then is ground. And that's what Spirit said you are giving this person. You're expecting this person to bring that structure into your life. Again, maybe you're saying, well, the relationship will make me feel whole. And Spirit's saying, no, it will not. Because there's parts of you that don't even know who you are. Because you can't have unresolved trauma or feeling unworthy without integrating it. You can't say, oh, well, now I just got rid of it. It doesn't work that way. It's that you don't need anything to feel like whole, that all the tools you have inside of you. That's what that magician tarot card represents. When you see the magician has all the tools right there. That's what that card means. So it's utilizing that, everything that you have, becoming yourself. So again, you were fragmented because, again, being told unworthy, and to the point that you were neglected, ignored, seen as bad. That's psychological trauma. That's psychic trauma. And psychic trauma makes you psychic, because what you're seeing is, you're like, wait a minute, what I'm feeling is not the same as what you're telling me. Again, it's a form of being brought up in an environment that gaslights you. So again, because you're like being told I'm unworthy, I'm not good enough because of my standards. So you're not going to be present. You're not going to be in the moment. You're going to be inside of you. But understand, then you're also going to form like an attachment style that's a little bit needy because you didn't get it. And this is what the narcissist looks for. The narcissist looks for a person that can feel that wound, that seeks it out. So you gave too much too soon. You got to make a person work for it. You don't tell them everything about you. You should, again, when you meet a person, you can tell them a little bit about yourself, but make them get to know you so that they don't need to ask about you. It's, again, then this way they're not using the information to their advantage, which is what I felt like this person did, which is a form of betrayal, but it's only because they wanted the upper hand. Like, I want to have my cake and eat it too. It's like, I have feelings for you, but I don't really don't believe that this relationship will ever work out, because you wouldn't me. So you know what? I'm going to come in here. I'm going to get what I want, because I have needs, and and then I'm not going to really end it either. I'm going to leave the door open so I can come back at any time. Up a lie, and it's just this person's avoidance style, and you will always attract an avoidance style until you integrate what needed to be healed. And what needed to be healed in this, which is what I believe was like healing the unworthiness. And that's by creating, by doing. And obviously, if this person wasn't giving you anything, which they weren't, you had to entertain yourself somewhere. You had to put your energy somewhere. And just for shit and giggles, let's see. What next? It's like, well, check to see whether this person's going to come back, but you don't want this person, because what we see here is, again, that they haven't raised their consciousness. Like, they're like, you can have them if you want them, but that's as good as it's going to get. It's not where the person would be coming in and out of your life like a revolving door, never letting you feel emotionally safe, which, hello, keeps you bound to the trauma that you grew up in. No, thank you. It's, again, and that's what needs the karma to be broken. That's why Spirit's like, we're not going to pull cards. I said, we'll pull cards, and Spirit says, no, we won't, because there's no point. Because you don't want to stay in that type of relationship. That's why. We got Queen of Swords. We got a Four of Swords. And we got a a Four of Wands. So at the end of the what will happen, because it's just like, well, what happens now? It's like, well, you're in a place of healing, mentally strong, becoming mentally strong, and that you're not taking action. It's not a time of action. Like I said, it's time for healing, but you will be in a relationship. I feel like a relationship is going to come soon. And so with that, it's, you move on. So the relationship pretty much was a dud. And because they don't really have a good intention, that first person. I'm sorry. Again, I know that when people ask the question, I know it's because they have feelings. They want that person to come back, but everybody loves from their level of consciousness. What you should learn is that what a person does is not a reflection of who you are. When a person makes you feel that way, which in this result made you feel unworthy, like what? Like I'm not good enough? Spirit says no one should be able to make you feel that way. That means that you needed healing. And so again, you're lucky that you were smart enough to not get caught up in this, because this could go on for forever, a cycle like this. You're lucky that they left you. It's again, and mainly because you didn't make things easy either, because you were nervous. You asked a lot of questions, and a person that's fearful won't, and so that's why I'm saying that's why you attracted that. I'm not ignoring you guys, by the way. I'm just in the middle of reading. Okay, and we end off with a message. We always like to ask, well, how do we move forward? Because you're going to meet somebody else, and in that, you'll eventually get over this person. I'm going to cough. Hold on. What I've learned, however, is that when you've been in a relationship like this, until you actually replace that person with a passion, and that doesn't need to be a person. It could be, again, a hobby, an interest, anything, or a person, you really can't let go, because in your mind is holding that person as passion. And passion is important for your emotional well-being. So when a lot of people say, well, I can't stop thinking about this person, I'm stuck in ruminating, that's the reason why. Hey, thank you. So that's the reason why that happens. It's like, it's not, you need to know that there's the law of transmutation for a reason. And the law of transmutation is, once you integrate the spiritual lesson that you create with that negative energy, that's how you get to see a different outcome. That's how you make lemonade out of lemons, right? That's the thing. A lot of people learn the lesson, but they never ground it. They never transmute it. They never channel that energy into purpose. So they keep then attracting the same types of energy, because they're like, why do I keep getting the same thing? It's because you haven't transmuted the energy. So you haven't done anything different. So you haven't seen yourself differently. And without seeing yourself differently, you can't embody that consciousness. And so how do we manifest? Through the thoughts that we think, the emotions that we have. So holding on to a certain consciousness is really important. So, and obviously having a person that makes you feel unworthy, in your life, if that was a trauma, it would need to, the universe saying, this needs to come out. You need to be, again, the vibration of unconditional love. So it's a very valuable type of insignificant type of relationship. You're like, okay, the person fucking didn't do anything. They came into my life and they just did that. Well, it's because they're fucked up. That had nothing to do with you. You saw her in the story that it was that, again, that they have a lot of baggage that they haven't integrated, and the healing that they needed to do. And they did mirror your energy. It's just the way that they channel out those behaviorisms are really toxic to themselves. They're reckless. They live from their lower energies. They live from their addictions. So obviously they don't manifest anything good. So of course they don't trust themselves. So of course they're not going to let you in all the way. They're going to have intimacy issues, and they'd rather leave it so that it just hangs open. We don't close it. We don't end it, because then I get to pretend that I can come back at any time, because now you're also dealing with someone that elevates their ego, right? They want to seem superior. Like, I can come back at any time. I left you. Where it's, again, that's a person that doesn't want to do any healing. That's what we saw here. But then when we say, why can't I let go? Why am I still ruminating on this? The reason why is because the law of transmutation. So if you want to stop thinking about the person, you have to embody the new consciousness. And that only happens by doing different things. And then a lot of times that's how the person eats the fucking karma. You are like, how come that person, they never eat the karma? I'm always eating the negative karma. It's because once you show this person, again, like their true self, by you stepping into your true self, they don't like it. Because their true self is stuck in a lower consciousness that needs to see themselves as superior. And what you're showing this person is that they're not all that. It's like, that's the only way that you're going to make a person see themselves. Especially a person like that. We end off with gratitude. I am aware of the light in my life. I direct my thoughts to the beauty in and around me. I give thanks to God for every little thing that brings me joy. Thus, I enlighten my thoughts, riches surround me, and I appreciate all that life brings me. So I feel like this message is to always have gratitude no matter what comes into your life, because the universe is always supporting you, is always loving you. So remember, if you didn't have support growing up, that the support actually comes from the universe, that the universe brings you everything that you need, and that it doesn't only just bring you things, but it works through you. So you're never alone. And what we need to do is tap into the higher self. A lot of times we become blocked. So again, have gratitude for the lessons that you live, and also be in that high vibration of gratitude, because that's when abundance comes into your life. That is when the riches surround you. So Spirit's saying, I had to make you aware of what needed to be healed, so you would heal it, so I could bring you the abundance that you deserve, that you haven't seen within your life. So it's not even about relationship here. Spirit said, you saw yourself as unworthy because you didn't know who you were, because you never grounded yourself, because you were ignored growing up. You were made to feel like unworthy. You were different. You were seen as bad. You were seen as just a problem. Rebellious as that. So you had to, again, heal yourself to become yourself, so I could, again, make you a magnet for abundance to come into your life. But you were blocked. And that's why the connection is. Now, will the person come back? Well, they left the door open. But it's, again, if you're expecting them to be different, the answer is no. They're not going to be different. People don't change. Even when they have awareness, a lot of times they have awareness, but integrating the spiritual lesson, well, that's a whole other thing. They have to want to do it. And they have to a lot of times go through a dark night of the soul in order to change. And that only happens after a tower moment. And that eventually happens when there's enough karma. The universe does step in and do that, but you don't want to wait there for this person to get it together. All right, guys, I'm going to leave that there. Does anyone have any questions for me? Now I can say hello. Hello, Gloria. Hello, Mose and Esperanza and Sassy O. Does anyone have any questions for me? And thank you to my winner, by the way. I promise that I don't say names. I do not say names. No one has any questions for me? No? I don't know if we're hitting a commercial. Sometimes you're like, you may be talking, but there's a commercial going on. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I'm wearing my grief beads from, where is it? From Otter Spirit. Otter Spirit. I like this company because they donate a lot of money to like saving the otters. The otters are now not extinct or almost extinct in California due to this company, Otter Spirit. I was looking for the box, but I don't know where I put it. Oh, here it is, right in front of my face. It comes with a cute little box, little like clean pouch that you can actually store your bracelets in. And if you like crystals, I like crystals again because they again represent the psychological and the emotional energies that a lot of times we need to integrate in order to heal ourselves. So again, it goes with the shadow healing and all that jazz. So I wanted to tell you that. And I also wanted to tell you guys before I let you go that I have my shadow healing coaching program still going on, but right now enrollment is stopped because I have the max amount of people in it. But if you're interested in shadow healing coaching, then click on the link below in the description box, and you will be notified for when enrollment opens up again, and you'll be the first to be contacted. So I wanted to let you guys know that as well. I've stopped teaching on Patreon, not going through Patreon anymore, just because the platform wasn't working for me. I couldn't need it to look like more like a school. It needs to be, because we do exercises. I don't just do readings for my coaching students every time we meet. Like I do life coaching with them, and they get shadow healing exercises, and we do a lot of the, not just exercise, but the healing modalities. So it's, this coaching program also teaches you about your life's path, how to find your life's path, and how to co-create with the universe to get the experiences that you want to experience to manifest within your life. So I just wanted to put that out there. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And again, thank you to my winner. Thank you, Amy. I like your unique readings. I actually the reverse just being shown. Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. It's like, it's to help empower you to realize that you really have the power within your life to manifest life, and that it's your experiences that you go through are just to help you learn. They're not who you are. Unfortunately, a lot of times the trauma that we go through, we take it on and we wear it like armor, and then we think that we become that, and we don't realize that. And how we become that is our habits and our behaviorisms are in alignment with that. And that's why when you're in a toxic relationship, it's really important to get yourself back to alignment, because the behaviorisms and habits that you created for survival will be the ones that block you from actually thriving and obtaining the wealth in your life, the abundance in your life. And that's what this story was about. That Spirit said you needed to heal the unworthiness within inside of yourself, so that I could make you a magnet for riches, abundance, money in your life, because you felt inadequate, unworthy. See, money has no energy except for the energy that you give it. But when there's a root chakra imbalance, then what happens is there's a perception of not knowing who we are, obviously, but we're not grounded. It means that we haven't put enough time and energy into ourselves. And a lot of times that happens if we weren't encouraged in childhood, especially if we've got ignored or made to feel like there was something wrong with us. Like I said, money has no energy. So again, the relationship was profound in your healing, even though it wasn't a great relationship, obviously. And it's one that left but at least there's a takeaway. And so that once you take it away, you become more of a magnet to better energy coming into your life. That's the whole point of it, because there's many different realities that play it at one time. Your level of consciousness, again, depends on your core beliefs. So it's all about going inward, but we wouldn't go inward unless we didn't like what was going on outward. So I'm going to leave that there for you guys. Thank you again for sharing your time and energy with me. And thank you again to my winner. I won't say your name. You'll let me know whether you resonated with this one. Bye.